What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. 4 viewing at the start. Always makes me nervous and a few other join in. 4 viewing and 1 like. Uh, Whoever's out there, let's say hello in the chat room. How's everybody doing? I don't have a ton of overly crazy stuff to talk about this week. There's um, not a lot of stuff on the Ryan. What's up, buddy? Not a lot of stuff on the the UFO stuff that I talk about a lot. Hello, Jeanette. Misty, Greg, keep it metal. Greg says keep it metal. I'm a pop rock fan. Nine. Hey, Susan. Uh, so the first thing that's on my mind today, without getting political, it's not political. It's an interesting thing. Um, is I don't know how many of you guys saw uh, Kid Rock in the Oval Office. Hey, Terry. Hello. Um, you know, the executive order to start working on uh, ticket scalping, all that stuff. Rich, hello. Uh, is something that I'm for. It helps my industry, but it's just so fucking weird what he wore. And I understand how loud Kid Rock is, and you know, um, I'm actually a big fan of some of the things that Rock stands for and does. I'm not a big fan of him being this MAGA extremist in any way, but but any of you guys that know me know that I am uh, the last person that's going to dress up for anything. It's I'm never. I'm at the point in my life. I was actually speaking to someone about this this week. I'm at the point in my life that I'm never going to get dressed up again in my life. I don't. It's just not. It's not. I am a t-shirt and shorts or jeans guy, and I worked my entire life to be able to be this guy. And but my point to that is, if I was invited to the White House, I, I wouldn't have worn that. I would dress up. I would I would at least dress as. I just think it was. It's it's. I guess that there's a part of me that is a traditionalist. As much as I'm a rock and roller and a disrupt the system guy, there's certain things that maybe are still somewhat sacred. I don't know, and to to be invited to the White House, I was watching. Bill Maher has been invited to have um, dinner with Donald Trump, and I was watching an interview with him about being invited to the dinner. And as much as he's an anti-Trump guy, the respect of being invited by anyone to the White House uh, calls for a level of that respect uh, back. And so, if I want you at my wedding, you wouldn't wear tux. The answer to that is I don't have the answer to it. I, I I don't know. I I don't know if I would wear a tux or not to your wedding, but I'm at the point. My point of this is I'm not a dress up guy. I don't have any intention ever again in my life to dress up uh, for any particular reason at all. But if I was invited to the White House under any circumstances, whether I loved or hated the president, I would not wear this fucking uniform that made me look like it looks like a Halloween costume of Evil Knievel. I just don't understand the point, and that's it. Yeah, there you go. Quit your life. That's exactly it. Is that you, Sean? By the way, I forget the names or whatever. um, so that was one thing that was irritating to me today, to say the least. Um, so let me mark that off my list right there because I don't know what else to say about it. The cause he's fighting for is something great, the ticket scalping and all that stuff. But man, it's just a wacky world, man. I don't. I imagine I would have thought that way in as much as I'm a Kiss fan. If I would have seen Ace Frehley in the Oval Office, that would have been insane to me. I don't know. That just on my mind, and I don't even know what else to say about it. You know, get ordained. Uh, I am ordained, and I have performed a wedding in the state of New York before. I don't know if you knew that or not. I and I didn't wear a suit to it. I wore a collared shirt but I did perform a ceremony for my friends Jim and Jessica Brady, who might be watching right now. Although Jessica's been having a rough go with some medical issues or whatever. um, and then the other thing is, and I'm talking out my ass, but I'm just curious if you guys are watching this. Uh, and again, I don't I don't know if I've said this enough here, but there's no um, political affiliation with the opinions I have. My opinions are positive and negative on both sides. Uh, and to anyone that knows me, I I think the entire thing's a joke, and um, I think that the entire world's getting played by I'm that conspiracy theorist that believes that. But anyway, moving forward, there's this guy Cory Booker. I need to know if any of you guys are watching this guy happen right now. He looks like an actor. There's an actor that I've seen before, popular actor, and I thought it was him. That's why I started watching it. Um, but he's someone in the Senate or the Congress or whatever it is, and um, he's got the floor, and I guess there's a bunch of crazy rules about until something's done, he can go as long as he wants, and he's almost been on the floor 24 hours, and he's just bashing Trump and bashing, just calling out things that the left are calling out against Trump or whatever. But I guess his goal is that so that everyone in the entire, if he's been on that floor for 20 hours, 24 hours, or whatever, he will get. He's keeping anything else from getting done. That's the point. The longer he stays on that floor testing his case or whatever he's doing, nothing else gets done and no one else can present their case. Again, I don't know enough about it. I just saw it shortly before starting this and was completely fascinated because I thought it was genius, to be honest with you. I didn't know that was something you could do. I didn't know that there was a way to stall things or hold things up. It sounds like a unique way to protest. And I thought, if you look it up, Cory Booker or whatever, if you don't know it already, it's what he's doing is incredibly interesting. Regardless of what side of the fence you're on with it, just check it out. It was mind blowing to me. So I don't know. I don't. Seems like maybe you guys don't even know that it's happening. No one's even made a single comment about it. But you know, oh, 18 viewers, 18 viewers. Let's get 18 likes, some subscriptions. Hit that subscribe button, please. Carolyn, hello. How are you doing? Jessica, hello. Jessica's saying congratulations, Jenny, and I don't know what Jenny is getting congratulated for. I'm trying to take a look. I don't know. Um, so I just got a text. I'm not going to say who it's from, but this cracks me up when people do this. The text says, "Are you still awake?" If I'm not awake, I'm not going to respond. So it's not the right question to ask. I don't think. Oh, there it is. He's been talking for over 24 hours now. Amazing. So I thought, interestingly enough, uh, today, and this is more on a personal a personal thing, is I'm not an April Fool's guy. I don't do the April Fool's thing much, and neither does Brett. Um, and the last couple of weeks have been really not my story to tell, but there's been a lot of depth in Brett's world, and a lot of incredible decisions he has to make about some things. And in the 24 years or 23 years that I've known him, 21 years I've been playing music with him, he's not a jokester. Every once in a while, maybe a prank, but he's not a jokester. He's not a April Fool's guy. And at 9:30 in the morning, I get this text. Good morning, Pete. Give me a call when you get this. I've had pretty tough and defining moments in my life the last few days. The conversation we're about to have, I don't believe it's going to be incredible, but it's something I think you know has been coming. Please give me a call. Uh, you know, that knowing what's happening in his world, and knowing you get that from anybody, and you're like, what the fuck? And so I didn't even know how to respond to that. So I waited. That came in at 9:30, and it was 10:53 before I uh, called him, and he starts going on and on about how he just doesn't like any of this anymore. The excitement's gone. Um, the dealing with the agents and dealing with uh, all these different things is just, why is he doing anymore? What's the reason? He doesn't need any more money. His kids couldn't spend his money, and I'm sorry. I may announce to everybody today that I'm just hanging this up and gonna go about enjoying my life. And I said to him what I've said so many times. Brett, whatever choice you make, whatever you want to do, I chose a long time ago to be, a general in your army. And even when I don't believe in you, even if I don't want to do what you're doing, even if I completely disagree, I've chose to stand by your side. So, uh, whatever it is you want to do, I certainly don't. He even said, he goes, I know you want to go on and do your acoustic thing anyway, and this might be your chance. I said, Brett, that's not the case. Standing on stage with you over anything is always going to be my first choice, whatever. And it was a really solemn moment. And out of nowhere, this motherfucker goes, April Fool's Day, motherfucker, we're going to take over the world next year. And again, 20 some years, no, he's not a jokester. Whatever fucking reason that he thought that would be funny today, he played an April Fool's joke on me. And then, for those of you that know me and Brett enough, what he said was, that's what you get for all the years of being an asshole to Chuck. So you guys know Chuck and me have been playing music together for 37 years now. Chuck's been best of best friends. And him and Chuck, when Chuck was in the band for those 10 years, him and Chuck were really tight, and he hasn't bonded as much with other people since Chuck. And so I guess he's had that tucked away for a long fucking time. But the idea that that whole thing was based on, because I'd been an asshole to Chuck for all those years. I'm gonna find out if this was a plan. I let it go until right now, but I'm gonna find out, and then I'm gonna play a trick on both of them. There's Rick. What's up, buddy? Rick, haha, that's a good one. I hear you. You better hit that like button, Rick. I know you did not yet. 7 likes, 22. Uh, so that was some of that. So just some of the things I wanted to touch on before I get to this other the main topic that I I'm gonna try to get to. Um, but if any of you guys have been watching, the weather started getting warm again, so I got on my bike. I've been riding, trying to. I do it every year. I try to get on the bike and try to get uh, healthier, Um, and I might have got on it a little too early because once I start, I have to keep going. And if I ride 4 miles one day, I have to ride at least 4.5 the next day. I have to beat it every day is my goal. I always have to beat it. And well, what's up, Robert and Teresa? How you doing? Um, and then so I went out today, and yesterday I did 6 miles, just a little over 6 miles. And I went out today, and I went to a different park, so I didn't have to ride in the same circles over and over again. That makes me crazy. And it was cold. If any of you guys live in Northern Virginia, it was cold today. You know, Tina told me, just go, you'll get warm when you're riding. And I didn't. I never got warm. It was fucking cold. But I made it to 6 miles and a little longer. So hopefully it'll be warmer tomorrow. Maybe I can get to 7. I don't. But it's funny when I do things. Years and years and years ago, when I used to do like more working out, like sit ups and push ups and stuff like that, I was never. I've and this is my whole life, and we can segue this into if anyone else is like this with anything they do, is if I do something one time today, I have to do it 2 times tomorrow. And I remember I would do 100 sit ups, and then the next day I had to at least do 101. And I it, it's it, everything I do in my life is like that. And so, so sometimes it's like I don't want to go the full 7 miles tomorrow because that means I'm going to have to go 8 miles the next day, and I'm trying to pace myself because it gets to a certain point. I don't know that I think some of you guys may know there was a point in my life where I rode 20 miles every day for years. I rode 20 miles a day. I lived in an apartment closer to this particular trail that I loved, and it was all I did with. It was before I was in Brett's band. It was only. It was some odd reason and the beginning of Evick, and I took my bike on the road with me. It was always in the trailer, and I rode 20 miles a day. And then maybe about 10 years ago, I started realizing I was lucky to get 10 miles. And the last couple of years, I haven't even been able to get to 10. But I think I'll get to it this year. I think last year, I think 7 was as far as I got. But yeah, Sean remembers. I love my bike. Uh, but anyway, I just wondered, does any of you guys have anything like that where you have to beat your best every day? I bet you Susan's like that. Susan seems like the kind of person that would have to beat her best every day. Maybe you ride twice a day to get more miles in. Heather, that's actually a good idea. And there was a time in my life where I could do that. The problem is everywhere that I like to ride, it takes me at least 30 minutes to get there. So I have to come home, put the bike in the car. That takes 15 minutes. Fill my water bottle up, and so there's 90 minutes of travel involved in a 45 minute to an hour bike ride, and I don't have that time in my day. I have to force myself to take the time out to do that for my own health, and then the whole time I'm riding the bike, I'm stressing out that I should be at the candle shop or in the studio or whatever I'm doing. So um, I don't know if any of you guys saw my post, but I thought it was clever with my. Well, again, Susan, not just exercise. I feel like if you're reading a book, I feel like if you read 20 pages tomorrow, you have to read 21. I feel like you have that same spirit in you. The I don't know if any of you guys saw my post yesterday, but I thought I had a brilliant little candle for the year, the 2025 what the fuck. Uh, it's it's funny you say that about Neil Peart, Greg. I remember them closing 66 down. We actually played Jiffy Lube live. Evick played Jiffy Lube live with Rush one year, and they shut the whole 66 down, and he had a police escort so he could ride down the road into the venue. So you bringing that up, that I remember he always had his bike on. That's crazy. Um, where was I at? Oh yeah, I came up with that new candle label 2025. What the fuck? I don't know if you guys saw it on my Facebook, but you should check it out, man. Uh, uh, I think it's a cool candle. I think everyone should have it in their house. So I don't promo asking people to buy stuff too much, but check the link out and get one because it's only going to be up for a couple more days. And the reason that came up is uh, that me and Chad and Dean were on the road this weekend. We had great shows. The band, the acoustic rock show thing gets better and better. And if you watch any of the reviews or any what the fans say, the positive response of it is something I'm just so incredibly proud of, man. Just so incredibly. Sometimes I can't even believe it when I'm listening to it myself. What we're doing with all the vocals and stuff, but uh, as close as me and Chad are, we sit on opposite sides of the fence on a lot of beliefs, but anytime he's had a bad week, a bad month that is, uh, you know, uh, and no, it doesn't smell like a dumpster fire. It smells like our new scent Nordic Nights, which is it's completely amazing. 25 viewers, that's all. I think the most I've ever had at one consecutive time is 32 or something. Call your friends, tell them all to tune in. Let's try to get 35 consecutive viewers. Um, where was I going with this? Oh, but Chad would be on the phone talking to people this weekend and have no explanation for the complaining that was going on just over and over again. Well, it's 2025. And I started talking to some other people and they were all saying it. And so I just thought I thought it's, I don't know if, I don't know if you guys remember the very first time that Trump got elected, the turmoil that came with that. And I was incredibly close with some full on haters and some full on supporters. I was much closer with a couple people on the extremes than I am with anybody now. And I made this candle. I thought it was the most genius thing in the world. I made you were right about Trump. I don't know if any of you guys remember that. And we sold so many of them. And my point was how to bring everyone together. And the point was whether you love him or hate him, you're right about him because there was no indifference. No one can trade. No one's changing anyone's mind. It's fascinating the amount of energy that is. You're right, Sean. It's fascinating the amount of energy people spend on the guy at all. It's fascinating. It's creepy. It's borderline cultism on both ends, the haters and the lovers. But anyway, that candle was funny. It sold a bunch, and then I was trying to figure out something to do. Uh, I hadn't done like some kind of yearly candle. I think that's funny. 2025. What the fuck? I'm pretty excited about it, and I did the artwork on it myself instead of relying on someone else. It's not art. It's just fonts. I don't. Some people call that art. It's not art, but I was proud that I did it myself. It's funny sometimes when I look up at the screen. When I look up at the screen, uh, I'm a Marvel cinematic guy. The when the gray comes in and I don't shave for a while, I feel like I look like Thanos from Marvel. Like I don't know. It's just, maybe it's with the green and the purple around. It looks like a sci-fi movie or whatever. But I don't really want to look like Thanos. I would like to change that. But sometimes that's why I don't look at the screen because I don't want to see uh, Thanos. Yep, everybody hates Elon now. I'm not gonna go. I'm not going with that. I just not going to go on who likes who or who doesn't like who. I'm just making a couple statements. But anyway, I would love you guys, some of you, to grab that candle. Again, it'll be a collector's edition, only a few out there. But so with that, we move on, and I am going to get a little bit political. You know what? I will sign it. I'll announce that tomorrow. I should have. I usually do, and I didn't announce that I would sign that one. But yes, I will. I will. Um, I was telling you guys that the shows were great, uh, and I don't know if any of you guys saw, but I got to play this weekend at a place called My Father's Place on Long Island, and it, if you're a historian of rock music or music in general, you know CBGBs, and I was fortunate enough to play CBGBs several. Oh yeah, the motherfucker in the Tesla is still right the fuck there, right through this fucking window. Oh, it pisses me off, man. He was when I got home Sunday. He was actually parked where he's supposed to be parked, getting a fucking charge. And I thought, oh my god, the guy got it. Everything's fine now. And then in the last 2 fucking days, he's right the fuck there again. Ugh, pisses me off. And then, like, now when I park, I have to park down the road and haul my bike all the way back up the street. Irritating as fuck, the situation. Uh, Midnight Happy Hour with Chad was good. I picked him up and I went to we went to CJ Finn's and had some drinks. So yeah, I'm gonna skip the other political stuff. I wanted to bitch a little bit about Iran and what's coming. I just don't fucking understand, and I'm curious what's going to happen with the tariffs. Isn't today or tomorrow is when he starts putting his other tariffs in place, or his reciprocal tariffs, or let's see. I think it's tomorrow or the third. Not even worth talking about anymore. You can't. There's nothing to say. But oh, I was talking about the show and playing My Father's Place. This real famous guy named Epi owns this place, and if you look at the history, I listed some of the people who have played there, and this guy is, the people that own the whiskey have passed on, and the people that own CBGBs, I don't even know where they're at. Like I said, I've gotten to play CBGBs several times over the years. Even though I was a hard rock guy, New York and DC both had punk scenes. DC had a hardcore punk scene, and New York had more of a poppy punk scene, like with Ramones, which led to Talking Heads and Madonna and Blondie. And what most of you guys maybe don't know, my very first record was produced by a guy named Richard Goddard, and Richard was partners with a guy named Seymour Steins, who started Sire Records, and Sire Records was famous for that era. They were that CBGB's era. Blondie and the Go-Go's, and Richard had this huge fame with producing female pop stars. He's also the guy that wrote "I Want Candy" that band Bow Wow Wow did, another female singer, and he also there was some other song he wrote that I can't remember, but anyway. He was working with another female artist, and they lost their guitar player, and I got to go to New York and record with them, and that's how me and Richard met, and how I eventually got the record deal. And we didn't have a female singer, but me and him got along, and we made some demos and turned into a record deal. And it was neat from at an early age, being an 80s rock guy, to listen and learn from him about the New York scene on the CBGB circuit. And I don't really get to talk to many people about that guy, because even though he's a legend in different circles. And so when I was at My Father's Place this weekend, the bar, this guy Epi that owns the place, who'd been there through that whole thing, My Father's Place was built to carry over what was happening at CBGB's that New York scene, bring it into the island, give it another place to go. So anyone that was playing those scenes, so he mentioned Seymour Stein's name, and then I said, Seymour, do you know Richard? And he knew Richard, and not a lot of people in my world know Richard. So it was an amazing experience for me this weekend to sit and talk to this guy. Now the venue is not in the same venue it used to be. He's moved buildings before, but he's such an incredible knowledge. I mean, he has stories of Springsteen, and if you go to Wikipedia and look, I named just a few of the bands that are playing there. Like nobody ever thinks about Madonna playing the clubs, and she did. She just like anyone else, she was part of that scene. And this guy just had such amazing stories and amazing history and such a New York attitude. Like he really didn't want to be speaking to me, but he was speaking to me anyway. But when I mentioned Richard's name, he lit up that I had some sort of knowledge of what he had actually been a part of, you know. And it's just funny how those things come together and right when you need them. He was cool. We had a great show, and then we went up and played Boston Rascals, and I think that's our third time. Some of these rooms now, me and Chad have played 3 times, and it becomes family, and it becomes a thing to do. We're creating something so cool, and I'm so grateful for it, and so proud of it, and what a so and we at Rascals, man. If you ever get a chance, that's gonna be one of those clubs that is going to go down in history. It's still open and it hasn't been open for 30 years, but the guys that run it are incredible, and it's a real rock club that still exists, but it's not run down, but it's also not doesn't feel brand new inside. It feels like a rock club, and it's worth traveling to just go if that's something you used to do and you don't have a lot of those anymore. Uh, you walk in and you feel, if you miss that, if you miss the nostalgia of the 80s and 90s rock clubs, this guy has got it down. A place called Rascals. I say Boston, and it's in Worcester, or I get yelled at for whatever I said, you know. So, um, yeah, there you go. uh, and I don't know if you guys saw the interesting thing with that. I posted on YouTube is my phone rang while we were playing, and right when I was about to do Cry Tough, and it was Brett. So I put him on the phone, and his childhood best friend, Adam Sidman, who he'd been in a band with, lives up there. And anytime we play there, Adam's like texting Brett, giving him play by play. And then so Brett calls, I answer his phone, and then again, Brett's going through a lot of different things in his life, and there's he's doing a few things out of character. And I said, "Do you want to listen to us play Cry Tough?" And he did. I put the phone down and he listened to us play the whole thing. And then after it was done, he asked me to put the phone up to the speaker so he could say hello to the fans or whatever. And that was a neat moment for the people there, because most of the people that are at our shows are big Bret Michaels fans. And to see, I think to see a moment of me and his friendship like that, and then actually be addressed by the fans over a phone call while he was home in California, I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, Sean, who doesn't miss Tiki's? I've driven Tiki Follows, for those guys who don't know, was a club in Dumfries, Virginia, that was the ultimate rock club. And I think I mentioned this before. I've thought about writing a book called The Clubs That Made Us, and using clubs like the Whiskey and CBGB's and Club La Vila, using these famous clubs that I was fortunate enough to play at, and some of the not so fortunate ones, and just tell the history and the story of maybe 20 different venues. And Tiki Fala is one of them that's important to me. And Tiki Fala was right off of the Quantico. Look, I'm getting a text from a friend. Take off a hat or lift it up. People need to see your eyes. That's when connections happen. Just my 2 cents. I hear you. I keep trying to look at the camera more tonight, but it's not. I get it. I know I should, and it's weird because I have a screen here, and the camera here. And but I keep trying to watch. This is what I've talked about. Well, from the very first episode, I kind of try to watch down so I can watch the comments because interacting with you guys is is the most important part of all of this by any means. Um, but so Tiki Follows was this very unique bar. I used to play it before I was even. I was in high school and I worked in a music store, and I would go to high school, then I'd run to the music store and work my shift, and then on Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays, a couple times a month, we would play because you could play 3 nights in a row, and and it was right off the Quantico Marine Base, but also in a very, very, I hate to say it, white trash, redneck, run down part of Dumfries, Virginia. And I believe I did play the Fillmore once, Greg. I believe. Um, but um, I was this little kid and I would eat cheeseburgers and do my homework, waiting to get to play. And there was this bouncer, the biggest guy. In my brain, when I close my eyes, he's bigger than Big John. I forget his name, and if Sean remembers, maybe he can tell you. But it was always just scary because the Marines were always kind of jacked up and looking to fight, and the rednecks were always jacked up and ready to fight. At any given moment, you would think a fight was going to break out at the pool table or whatever. Uh, I will never admit Goodfellas is the best bar. In fact, we all know that I've said a million times in my life to the owner of Goodfellas that it's the worst bar there is. Good. That's what Goodfellas is famous for. Goodfellas in Pottsville, Virginia, is famous for being the worst fucking bar of all time, and I'll go to my grave making sure of that. But I have incredible memories there, and the guy that owns it is a brother that I would take a bullet for. So that's how it goes. Still the shittiest club on the planet. I have to erase my. Somehow my text got talk to text, and now for the last 5 minutes, everything I'm saying is in a text to someone. That's ridiculous. Almost done. Just give me a second. Good fellas. See, Sean, that's funny. I don't remember that. Maybe that is what I remember a dude getting thrown out, and I remember the bouncer. I remember that bouncer pushing somebody from the stage, like he was in front of me in front of the stage, and he pushed this guy, and the guy flew all the way to the back of the room. It looked like a sci-fi movie. It didn't seem fucking real. Uh, I don't remember that he was fucking with me, but uh, maybe he wasn't. That has to be the situation. Because why was the bouncer that close up to the stage? I don't know. That's funny. What was he doing to me? I wouldn't even know. Um, so anyway, the shows are great. The acoustic rock show is great. I love it. Um, Mike is awesome. Mike is the best. Um, Before I get to the last thing, I just want to ask if any of you guys are still watching those Eagles. I so Greg, and which Greg am I talking to, by the way, if you don't mind me asking? Because Greg, I have to tell you about Alrosa Villa. Alrosa's where Dimebag got shot, and we played that club as the Bret Michaels band on the 1 year anniversary of him getting shot. I don't know who thought that was a good fucking idea. Oh, what's up, Greg? Maddox. I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but there we were, and we are playing it. Um, because I'm so jacked. Uh, and uh, Dime's blood was still on the carpet, man. And I stood in that. I stood in fucking Dime's blood. Everyone did, not just me. Everyone that played that club stood. Oh, that was a fucked up feeling, man. Incredible story to tell for the rest of my life to anyone that wants to listen. But uh, And I remember that I have this little riff I always play that's, I never thought much of it. It was kind of similar to Walk from Pantera that I've just always played my whole life. And I was playing it, and the sound man goes, "Have some fucking respect." And I haven't played that riff again since that day. But yeah, that was some weird shit. So back to what I was saying. Are you guys still following those Eagles I told you about? They're crazy. Like they double in size like every day. It's ridiculous. So if you're not, make sure you check that shit out because you're gonna miss it. I'm gonna be sad. I feel like they're gonna fly out of the nest and I'm gonna miss it, and it's gonna be like missing my child's first steps. It's gonna make me insane. So, uh, um, so so right before I'm gonna leave this story, and then we're gonna go on to what I had to research. Is right before I came on, we were watching a video about um, hiking in the Grand Canyon. And I'm curious to, it says there's 25 people watching. 25, 14 likes. Let's get that like button going. Um, I'm curious if anybody knows this and why I don't know this fascinated me. It cracks me up when I find out stuff that I don't know. Um, there is a village at the bottom of the Grand Canyon where a very small population of people live, but it's, first of all, there's all these waterfalls, and and the water is so blue it looks fake, like uh, at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. But there's a village, and it is the most remote village in the United States. I learned all this today. Um, and there's a hotel, there's a bar, there's a grocery store, there's a post office, there's and there's power. There's power lines coming down. Uh, it's everything. But for some reason, you are not allowed to take photographs. Photographs are forbidden. Um, you can walk through it, you can pass through it, you can hike through it, you can stay at the hotel, you can do whatever you want. You're not allowed to photograph it. And these bloggers that were talking about it found couple photographs through history that someone else had taken. Uh, so they put those up, so that they weren't officially taking the pictures themselves. Um, but why? Why is that you're not allowed to photograph that? I need to. There you go, Coosa Canyon. I'm in. I'm going. Um, but what those hikers said is that there's a mule train, they call it, and the mule train is like, I think, 8 to 10 mules that trek from the top of the Grand Canyon to the bottom every day to this village and back with supplies, food, refrigerated food. The whole video is fascinating to see what they do, and mail service. These mules go to the bottom of the Grand Canyon every day. Like at this point, I feel like you could do drones and helicopters. You can pay for a helicopter to drop you off at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. Um, but yeah, look it up. I forget what the village are called, and it's an Indian, it's an Indian people, but they're living a very modern life down there. It's just you're not allowed to take pictures of it. And I don't know if you guys know, but like for instance, we play a lot of Indian casinos, and when you play on that Indian land, they make all the rules. Like that is technically kind of not part of the United States. If you're on an Indian reservation and there's Indian casinos, even Mohegan Sun where we play, they make the laws and the rules that they can do what those tribes are allowed to do and say whatever they want, uh, and you have to follow. But so anyway, um, that led me to the question of how many other places are there in the world that you can't take pictures of. Um, so I went down that rabbit hole, and I some it, some of it I thought was some of it I thought was really interesting. The one thing that I think I can't understand, I would love an answer to, is uh, it is illegal to take a picture of the Eiffel Tower at night. There's something about copyright laws during between the day and the night. There's two different copyrights, and if you take a picture of it, you're infringing the copyright. So and it's funny that it's funny. So I'll get into what's funny because there's this brings up to me a certain part of the world we're in today, and um, an interesting subject, especially for the life that I live. Um, but North Korea, you're not allowed to take pictures in North Korea, and there's fines and jail time for that stuff. And I think I knew that. I think for some reason I knew that. Um, the United Arab Emirates, which I think counts as Dubai, um, there's tons of places there that you're not allowed to take pictures of, and them and Japan both, tons of places in Japan that you're not allowed to take pictures of, and the reason is because they're afraid it'll upset spirits. So there's still a certain spirituality in Dubai and certain parts of Japan that I thought that was weird to think that a photograph would disrupt the spirit. But it's neat, it's respectable, it's mysterious, it's cool to talk about. The Sistine Chapel, you're not allowed to take pictures of. Inside the Taj Mahal, you're not allowed to take pictures of. I learned all of this tonight. uh, but I get it. There's some things that, if you guys ever seen my live show, I beg people uh, not to Facebook Live it, uh, because if you weren't there to see it with your own eyes, why should you get to see it? Some people have to work. I and also the idea. This brings me to the idea. Uh, I don't want to get too personal because I don't want to offend him because he's one of my true brothers. He's a brother. Is Norman. Norman that plays in the Bret Michaels band with me. Uh, he videotapes everything. The camera's always running, and he takes pictures of anything and everything and just posts them. And when he first joined the band, I said, Norman, you can't do that. My likeness is my likeness. You can't just post pictures of me whenever you want. And so that if you ever notice when Norman makes videos or puts things live, I'm not in any of it. Because I do believe I believe the world's gotten a little bit crazy now. Like the who you have the right to your own image, and so anyone that posts a picture of you without your permission, that's technically a, a law. You're not allowed to do that, and somewhere it all just slipped through, and the world is constantly videotaping everything. Like uh, uh, it's there's a huge level of disrespect in that. Even when I put those glasses on, which I love those glasses. I haven't posted much with them lately, but um, even some of that video I took, I went and asked every single person, from D. Snyder to, you know, the fan shots. I did a quick view of the fans, and I don't focus on anyone in indirectly. So I don't think I passed by long enough for an image for someone to go, oh my God, that was so and so, or that was so and so. But I asked permission to put the post up. Um, it's a weird. My point to that is, it's a weird world we live in where everyone just thinks it's okay. Sometimes, and I hope I don't offend anybody, but sometimes, like if I'm out at the merchandise booth or or just walking from the hotel to the venue, and I'll stop and I'll talk to a friend, and I'll turn around and someone's videoing me. And if someone comes up and says, I would like to get a picture with you, I'm honored, I'm grateful. The fact that someone wants a picture with me, fuck man, I did something right that someone would like that. I love it. And grateful till the day I die. But when they're standing 10 feet away just videotaping me having a conversation with someone else, what the fuck is that? Like, what the fuck is that for real? Or a lot of times I'll be standing on the side of the stage. I'm not dressed up. I'm not ready to perform, but I'm going up there to peek out at the other band playing or see how big the audience is or something. I'm just living my life, and then all of a sudden I'll get pictures of people. I see you, haha, and I don't. What do they want with that picture? What does someone want? And that's not just me, just anybody. Um, it's really intrusive world right now. But we're getting to the point where, like, the Ring cameras are a giant network. Pretty soon, the entire world is just going to be connected by the Ring cameras and all that stuff. I get it. Surveillance. I don't get surveillance. I don't like the eye in the sky. I don't like the Big Brother shit at all. But I I get curious what someone videotaping someone else doing something else with someone else. And then I think about all that stuff, the George Floyd thing. I think I know this is old, man. I know this is old, but man, some of these motherfuckers just sat and videoed it happen. I will tell you this, regardless of what side of the fence I am politically, regardless on what I feel about race, if I saw any other man killing another man, you were going to have to kill me too. Uh, I wouldn't have sat there and videotaped that. I know that cop had a gun. I know there was other cops, but my instinct would have been to kill the cop. Uh, I understand there's a million reasons that guy was doing something wrong. I understand both sides of the story. I don't want to get into that part of the story. I'm talking about human instinct and how crazy it was to watch these people just videotaping a man get killed and not one person. My gut reaction, maybe not try to kill the cop, but to try to stop it from happening. I don't understand. I don't, you know. Yeah, no, Johnny, you're right about that. I understand that. I understand no expectations, but my point isn't that. I understand I put myself in a position, and the position I'm in, I'm grateful for that anyone wants a picture with me or a video of me. But what I'm asking is the people that take the videos from 20 feet away of people doing private things or other things not involving them, what is that? What do you possibly do with, hey, look, I found Stephen Piercy getting a candy bar out of the vending machine, or I don't what I'm not that quick on the draw. I am the least catch anything on video guy in the whole world. And then when I got those glasses, I thought I was going to catch everything. I thought this is going to change everything. I'm going to be part of the crowd now. I'm going to be able to, you know, have video content, and then I just don't want to. I just don't want to expose the world. It's called looking behind the curtain, and that's a lot of what's wrong with rock and roll these days. Rock and roll was. I have not, Terry Lynn. The only thing necessary for triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Where does that come from, Sean? And Terry, what is that about? Have you seen the fall of it? Tell me the story of it. Area 51, Robert and Teresa. You can't get to it to take a picture. That's the difference, I think. My buddy Danny Stanton was there last weekend. Um, so we're almost just 5 minutes from the end. So I haven't said it much this time, but I'm going to say it again. Subscribe, please hit subscribe. Please hit like. Please make comments. All those things help this algorithm to grow. Um, Maybe I'll check it out tonight after the show. I got to watch Daredevil after the show. My youngest son loves the show. For some reason, I haven't been watching it, and he's mad about it. And if you guys have seen Jacob, you know you don't want him to be mad at you. So, um, where does that quote come from, Sean? I need to know how big the delay is. It makes me crazy. I feel like everyone should be able to answer right away. So, oh, 21 likes, 22 viewers, and 21 likes. We're getting there. um, the quote is a paraphrase of a statement made by Edmund Burke, but not in the exact wording. I get it. It's a powerful phrase, though. Powerful phrase. Yeah. I sorry that I insisted on doing a. I was gonna make sure that I did a whole episode without trying to talk about Whitley Strieber or any of that I'm going through. The but I will tell you the conversation continues, and a lot of neat stuff going on. Um, as I told you before, one of the two things he said that is fascinating is that we've forgotten what the real power of our imagination is, and that's huge. That's huge, and I challenge everybody to think about that more and more. Again, without imagination, we wouldn't have fire. Without imagination, we wouldn't have the wheel. And as a kid now, you're taught, oh, it's just your imagination. Like that's a bad thing. And it's the power of invention. It's the power of change, is what imagination is. And a lot more focus needs to be put into those that can imagine instead of those that are using AI to write term papers. Jessica, I talked about you at the very beginning of this. Someone mentioned that I should get ordained, and I said I already am, and that I had married you. Fell asleep on the couch. Well, I'm glad you could join us for the last 3 minutes. Jessica also missed the Rascal show. So that I think that's got her bummed out a little bit, maybe. I'm going to use mine again because of my 4-year-old nephew. There you go, Carolyn. You get it. You get it. Yeah. So, uh, opening with your imagination. And for any of you guys, if you heard me tell you that I read Whitley's book, uh, The Path, it is. Oh, oh, Terry's texting me, as in to not type about it. And I just. Oh, there it is, a link to it. Um, the Path. If you guys are if I've inspired you to follow a journey of any kind of enlightenment, The Path is this incredible book, and you can be atheist, agnostic, or a full on diehard Christian. Um, and this path covers a way to take you on a journey, no matter what you believe, that puts you in a higher place at the end. I just can't recommend it enough. You guys check it out. Hold on. I'm using my imagination in my dreams, especially now. Can't wait to read the path. That's awesome. Ah, two people. I have to tell Whitley. My friends are buying the books. I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys trust me enough to let me influence you on this kind of stuff, and I can't wait to hear what you guys uh, get from it. So I don't know that I have much else to say today. That was everything that was on my mind. Um, but the places you can't take a picture of, I would just say check out um, check out that place in the bottom of the Grand Canyon. Like I had no idea. It's just check it out. I'm gonna go search for pictures of it as soon as we wrap this up, and maybe some of you guys will too. Maybe we'll be watching the same YouTube video at the same exact time. So you know, like, subscribe. Thank you for joining me. All those things I say every week. We're getting closer and closer. I hate to read, but you have definitely inspired me. Come on, Roxanne, you gotta read. I hate to read. Can't you buy audiobook versions of it? Which, interestingly enough, I can't do audiobooks. I've tried because I thought it would work on my long drives and stuff like that. I can read the real book all day and all night long. I put an audiobook on and I fall right asleep. It's ridiculous. So, all right, guys, man, happy Tuesday. It's our little club, our little private club on Tuesdays where we all get together and I'll find way more interesting stuff to talk about next Tuesday. I didn't get much chance to think about it, but we'll find all kinds of cool stuff. What is DHSN? DHSN. Tom, I don't know, buddy. Greg, thank you for joining. Oh, all right, guys. There you go. I'm going to go find out more about what's at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, and then I'm going to go there. Like, subscribe, tell some friends, make some comments. Anything you do all helps. And see you guys next week, man. Thank you. Thank you for hanging out.